I don't know. People been,
The love been crazy.
yeah. It been crazy.
That's what it should be.
People say it. I would say people coming back around right now.
That's always funny.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm proud of you. I believe in you.
Yeah, word. You know what I'm saying? I think it's 2018. Like podcasting wasn't this big thing
At all.
So it was like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, yo, like, we got to put some positive shit out there.
Absolutely. There's so much negative shit out there.
So much. And that's why I did it. I'm like, yo, I got to kind of shake the algorithm a little bit. Try to, just be consistently positive. Whether I started with my Facebook statuses.
Yeah, I did too. Yep.
With my language, what I'm saying, what I'm putting out there. And you believe it or not, like, people will message. Even if they won't comment, they'll message you like, yo, I needed that.
That's dope.
Like, yo, like, I was going through it. This, that, and the third happened. That's why I kept going. And then you get discouraged. My sister would be like, she'll call me like Rev Run and shit like that.
Yeah, I used to get
you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, like,
positive
listen.
ass nigga.
Like, that's a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. So I would send her the screenshots. Like, yo, look what this doing for people.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about impacting those around, like, closest to me. It's about the masses.
Because the experience is real. It's the same everywhere in the world. Right. Like, 80% of people go. That's why, like, on Instagram, when everybody acting like life is going so well, I'm like, dog, everybody's going through shit.
Everybody going through shit. That's a fact.
Yeah, especially after COVID. Like, the world was locked down, couldn't connect with your people. Like, shit got difficult.
Right. My son was born in June 2020.
Wow.
So, like, furloughed from 2 jobs, baby on the way, a whole bunch of, but everything.
Stressed, ain't it?
Yeah, it was just, but, God saw me through for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I was able to come out of that on top. I got a teaching job. That's where Slice of Excellence came from. Apartment downtown. Everything just came through. And it's funny because getting fired from one job lowered my income and had me eligible for a better apartment in a better spot.
Wow.
That's the positive out of
it.
it.
There's a blessing in every
That's
disaster. It hurts to go through it when we go through it.
Oh, yeah. Especially with a kid on the way.
That stresses. But, like, when the kid was on the way, did that, like, increase your drive and your hunger?
OD.
It makes you a different animal.
If you let it, I already made my personal changes before that.
Yep.
So that was just like another battery in my back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just kept going after that.
Yeah, I love that.
You know what I'm saying, we ready to go?
Oh, yeah, we rolling.
They don't think you could do it, but tell you to try when they talk. All I hope had to keep it at last from the day in the Bronx, but you wouldn't survive. Can be low when I pop out, they know I've arrived. I go have conversations with Zoe, he gon' tell me pull up and come say what you know. I've been up, I can count all them days in a row. We don't say what we do, we be making the show. They say I'll be
the voice of the Bronx. We have Bronx name, but the guys are out here. Can I get a
yeah. Leave them all right where they at. Try to diss me, I bet I don't even react. Put a show on, I bet you somebody gon' I pick me a book up and drink me some water, invest in the stock.
Peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe. I'm saying the intro, we're going to ease into this intro, but I'm going to start right here. Don't call me an influencer.
Please
I'm
don't.
the best at what I do. I'm not trying to influence anyone.
Humbly.
Yeah.
You know
what I'm saying? So listen, man, we got the master investor today, Ian Dunlap, in the building. Welcome to Conversation with Zoe.
I'm honored, man.
Thank you, man.
I was saying it before we went live, like, I've been rocking with you for a minute. Can we curse on? I'll keep it like
you can say whatever you want.
I've been fucking with you for a minute.
Right.
Love what you're doing, love the positivity, love your integrity.
Thank you.
So when I got the invite, I was like, I cannot wait. Cannot wait to do it.
No, yeah, I'm happy we was able to spin it back. It was supposed to happen already, but I figured it's always God's timing. When he says go, we go. When he says stay still, we stay still.
And I try also, like, in interviews, like, if I'm having a bad day or I'm super tired, I try and bring good energy to these.
Right.
So I want to make sure, like, I was in a good space.
Right.
Vibrant. So, yeah, today's been great, man. Got a little nap before this.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, father to the most amazing child in the world.
That's my baby.
On earth.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
How's fatherhood treating you?
Amazing. Like, he made my life better in every way. We were just talking about it. Like, my drive for everything that I'm doing now is centered around my love for him.
Right.
Because before this, like, I didn't care about being seen, being all in the camera,
all
in the videos, dancing, you know what I mean? And then, like, once my son came, I'm like, I have to provide for him. And then I also can't tell him to be fearless and do everything on earth that you want to do if I'm not showing him that I'm fearless.
Right, leading by example.
Yeah, you have to, because kids really watch what you do, not what you say.
Yeah, facts.
So, but yeah, he's amazing. He's on spring break right now with his mom on a little cruise. He's
how old is he?
8. He just turned 8 in February.
That's beautiful. Oh, he just turned 8. Yeah, my son is 2.5. He'll be 3 in June.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, baby Hendrix, my guy.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's my guy. Investor with one of the highest win percentages in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Humbly.
Humbly. So how is that measured?
Just by win percentage. So like for me, whenever I'm getting into an investment, especially when I'm doing a show, Market Mondays, or I'm talking to everybody in Red Panda, I want to only give like investments that I am actually in.
Right.
So number one, that's what allows me to stay accountable. Because like if I'm in it, I know what the chances are. I've been in it long enough, and then I try not to tell anyone to do anything that I'm not doing.
Right.
I feel like there's so many people talking that are leading by what they think is going to happen, opposed to what they're actually doing. It's a huge mistake.
Right.
So like just year over year win wise, like the stocks that I call that where to get in and where to get out, like pretty high. Like I think that last year was like a 94.5% win ratio on a trading side, like 88%.
Wow.
So it came with a lot of practice, a lot of dedication.
Yeah, a lot of discipline.
Yeah, a lot of discipline. Had some mistakes, had some losses. I cried like Trey from Boys in the Hood when I had my first big loss.
You swinging in the air?
Boy, let me out, though. Let me out.
Right.
Shout out to all my traders. If you ever had a loss, like it is like imagine you write an email wrong and you lose like $15,000.
Right.
That's what losing the trade. Like one little micro mistake can like mess everything.
Mess up everything.
Yeah.
So what exactly was it that like Logan Paul got in trouble for?
He was promoting crypto. Shout out to Logan Paul and his team. But what they were saying is like he promoted the crypto project, and then his team was inflating the value of it.
Got you.
And even though it wasn't him, I'm still responsible for what those in my company will do as well.
Right.
So if I tell you to buy Air Force One stock and I don't disclose that, hey, I own a considerable share of Nike, and everyone rises the price up, and when it falls apart, it doesn't work, I can't then say, well, I didn't know.
Right.
So it's one of those things where like when crypto came out, NFTs came out, whenever you're giving financial advice, you have to be very careful, man, because when it goes right, most of the time people are not going to give you any money off of their wins, but if they lose, they're going to want to sue you. So you got to be real careful.
I see that. Humble human, not a financial advisor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a financial advisor. And then, I try and be humble because, of course, in media, and I've never said this before, but like a part of the bravado sometimes people see on the show or on Instagram is needed to draw the audience in.
Right.
Sometimes I have to make the audience hate. Cause even me, I'll see my clip sometimes and be like, why did you clip it there? I would hate me too if I saw this.
Right.
Like clip it up when I was nice before I went crazy, right?
Yeah.
But that came from like watching wrestling.
Right.
Stone Cold Steve Austin sold way more merchandise than Larry Zbyszko, who was like a good guy at the time, or like Rey Mysterio.
Right.
So sometimes like the hate needs to reel them in.
Yeah.
In order to make them listen.
Right.
But yeah, or like in day-to-day life, I'm like super.
Right. No, I can see that. I mean, I think for conversation with Zoe, we had to get a little spicy.
Yeah.
In order to, because the conversation hasn't changed, but we've been able to have those conversations and still, but you got to give the people what they want.
And the algorithm feeds negativity.
It does.
Which sucks.
And I realized that. And once you start paying attention to your energy and what you're putting out and what you're attracting, that's when you're more conscious of what you say and what you do, and
very much so.
And what you do to other people. Like you're very cognizant of like how would what I said affect that person. And once you gain that level of emotional intelligence, you start to move different. Yeah. And then as you're moving different, you feel like you're in isolation, but like you're where you need to be in order to go to the next level, because I'm on the block talking to people that have no idea what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Like, what's wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like, it was weird because it's like, I'm not doing nothing bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually trying to encourage you guys.
Do you feel like people made you feel weird for being positive or trying to bring like positive lens to Instagram, Facebook? And if so, what was that like for you?
I mean, the Rev Run comments, he's preaching, or he's preaching ass, you know what I'm saying? But for me, I noticed that a lot of us overcompensate a lot. So a lot of that demeanor or whatever you're trying to dish at me is really how you feel about yourself.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? It really has nothing to do with me. Yeah. And when you really, like I said, people are starting to spin the block now. Like, oh, wow, I see what you were saying. Oh, people that I invited come on. It was like, nah, I'm not really fucking with it. And then you see bigger people than you, and now you feel like I owe you the slot.
That's always the craziest thing. Like, I won't say who, but shout out to all the podcasters.
Right.
I was inviting 25 people to come to the show in Madison Square last year.
Right.
I was like, no, I'm cool. I'm not fucking with it. As soon as I announced Mayweather was coming, yo, King, You think, I'm like,
yo, King.
wait, you not bigger than Mayweather.
Right.
And he went out of his way.
Right.
To come. But it's interesting like that psychological dynamic when people will see someone bigger come back and then, schedule.
Right. But it don't it don't fit. Some of the people it made sense, and some of them it don't fit no more.
Yeah, it doesn't fit anymore.
And it's not even of a lower stature, or not to call it that, but like you missed your window. Like the window where I could do that is gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now I'm scaling up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hiring the algorithm. People are reaching out. It's this positive domino effect from one guest to the next, and it's like this person sees me with this person, so that's like that cosign, and then it's like
everything grows exponentially.
Everything grows exponentially. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Join redpanda.com.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want ideas to win more in the market?
Mm-hmm. It's the best place to go.
Right.
Yeah. My thing is like in our community, we are so terrified of investing, but we're the best consumers of every brand on earth. So if I ask every brother in the world, what's the best shoe company in the world, the answer is going to be Nike. Easily.
Right.
Best phone company in the world, Apple. But we won't invest in the products in which we're buying.
Right.
So my thing is like, I want to just give you the information for free, let you make money. And after you make money, let's figure a way to do business together.
Right.
I'm not going to sell you on anything first.
Right.
Let me help you. Let me educate you. And as I educate you, give you the information that it took me years to learn.
Right.
Then a trust is built because you see the thing actually work, opposed to be, if I sell you, you're going to come in skeptical. I want you to come in sold on me already.
Right. I definitely, I've had a financial journey, and I feel like, I believe in like personal development.
Mm-hmm.
Then that leads into financial development.
Yeah.
In my opinion, just because you want to feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's no point in having it all, and you're not this confident, spiritually connected person, who's in tune with oneself. So I ended up going to boarding school for high school.
Okay.
So, it's culture shock, you know what I mean? But I was around a lot of affluent kids, and the conversation was different.
Yeah.
Like you see kids checking the market every day,
Mm-hmm.
Yahoo Finance, so I'm like, yo, like they put me on, like, and shout out to Robert Zhang, one of my friends, he's from Cali, Asian dude. He taught me about credit. Yeah. My cousin, he gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
It's a great book.
Shout out my guy Rich Homie. He gave me the book.
Quan?
Quan? Nah, he's my neighbor. He's my neighbor. He gave me the book Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice.
That's a great book.
Dr.
Miles Monroe.
Is Dennis Kimbrough?
Oh, Kimbrough. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that was phenomenal from the Black perspective, and there's a lot of personal development and financial development in that. So that was a good one for me. But before we keep going, right, we gotta bless you with the Slice of Excellence merch. You know what I'm saying? Slice of Excellence. That. We trade report cards for pizza. You know what I'm saying?
That's fire.
You know what I'm saying? We had to bless my guy. And then I definitely want to give a shout out to a Black-owned clothing brand called Natural Born Brand.
Okay.
Right? And you're a size XL.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So we got the top and the bottom for you.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? And we got that for you right here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Dave, at Natural Born Brand. It's hard. You're going to like it.
Hard.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to wear this on Monday on the show.
Oh, yeah, facts. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let them know. Tap in.
Yeah, tap in.
You know what I'm saying? But what I wanted to say was EYL did so much for me during the pandemic.
Shout out to the guys.
I was listening to 3 episodes a day. That's in the morning, in the afternoon.
What's your favorite episode? Or give me 2 of them.
Favorite episode. I definitely love the Turo. That's a tough question because anything you looking into, they have
it there,
right? But I would say Steve Harvey for sure.
The classic interview.
Yeah. And Rick Ross.
Classic interview.
You know what I'm saying? And then Dame Dash when he gave them the drop that they have in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Dame Dash, how was it chopping it up with Dame Dash?
Amazing, bro. Amazing. Like Dame gets vilified so much, and I've always thought that is done so because if Dame had the power that he should, he can change the entire face of the Black community.
Right.
And I love Gary Vee. Gary Vee was like the one that was like influential in me, like the first 2 seasons of Market Mondays wearing a suit. Because when I met him at Super Bowl, he was like, "You look like Ghost, dress up." Like for the first 2 seasons.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I was like, okay, I'm like, I didn't want to. I'm like, I'm at the crib. You want me to dress up? He was like, trust me, it's gonna work.
Right.
And it worked. But everything Gary Vee was saying, Dame was saying 12 years prior.
Right.
But we don't treat Dame the way that we treat
Gary Vee.
Like Gary Vee or a Leor or people in the music or Scooter Braun. And to me, Dame is that. So Dame is absolutely amazing, man. Shout out to him and shout out to Eddie Melton, who's running for mayor, and Gary.
Right.
Dame's helping with that initiative. But yeah, he's an amazing person, man.
Right. That's tough, man. I got to interview him someday too.
Yeah.
I'm saying that'd be a good one.
That'd
I got a lot of. It's crazy. It's crazy being here, like sitting here next to you, because I've always seen like, I feel like everybody I look up to or I follow, I could see myself in them.
Yeah.
And I started to pay attention to what I consume. So like, I won't say no names, but I started to follow a lot of things that I feel like didn't coincide with what I was trying to do.
With their values.
With my values, what they putting out. And it's just like, if this is what I'm trying to do, I love Eric Thomas, but I had to stop listening to him because I'm
Why?
Like, because I gotta sound like me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta.
You think he influenced you?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's very animated, but I listen to him here and there. I don't listen to him as much as I used to.
Yeah, used to.
Feel me? But I had to, if I was gonna do this, I had to find my voice, where I stand, like what I do, because he does what he does. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy from Detroit. I'm the guy from the Bronx.
Yeah.
But all of that comes together. But I feel like, that's the kind of things I want to see out there.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of things, like, if you think of EYL was on the Math Hoffa show, right?
Yeah.
That should have did 7 million thousand. You know what I'm saying? It should have went crazy, but we want to see, more ratchet shit, than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it
sucks because then we got to play the game and turn it up and be spicy.
Right.
To draw people in, or like they'll watch the interview with. I saw like the one with Cannabis talking about the Stan story, or Troy Ave and all the craziness. But
right.
I'm trying to train our community, and I think we all are, to like watch more positive things, because all the negative stuff only leads us to more trouble. I have a little theory though, like all the drill music that is being promoted is doing so to make the crime rates increase, so that they can drop the values in real estate, so they can come in and gentrify.
Right.
And the same thing is happening in the content space. Like if you and I fight right now, go viral. But if we give everybody like a great blueprint on how to make $2,000 in a weekend in the Bronx, it'd be like 1,400 views. That's done by design.
It is done.
That's done by design.
I do 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Because it's like before, it's always something. They're always gonna find a new way to push that same agenda.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And that's us being divided.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's us more promoting that self-hate, promoting, like, if you think about it, like all this op stuff and opposition.
I mean, even take the Will Smith and Chris Rock scenario.
Right.
They act like Will Smith shot him on stage.
Right.
Like they ran it into the ground for a year. And I'm like, we grew up in the era where our friends, if they were mad, they would have did something way worse.
Way worse.
But they want to drag this out to show black on black violence. It'll get clips. Right. And they use our trauma as a way to monetize their media.
100%. Because now it's another division. Team Chris, Team Will
Smith. Yeah.
So it's crazy though.
Yeah.
But where did you grow up?
East Chicago, Indiana. So I'm from a small city, like 5 minutes from Gary.
Right.
Indiana. So that's where like I get my like integrity, morals from. Because everything, especially in the era in which we grew up, like your word meant everything.
Word is bond.
And if you had conflict with somebody, you had to be able to say that shit to their face.
Right.
Or be quiet. That's why the internet is a very weird place where people will have courage and say things to you that they'll never say in person.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So like I feel like growing up in like a small city like that, it's like a steel mill town, taught me like really hard work ethic that I still carry to this day. So the brother was asking me earlier, like, how often do you look at the market? I'm like, every day, 8 to 10 hours.
Every day.
Every day. Like I treat it like I'm going into the steel mill or like a factory and putting that like hard work ethic behind it. Yeah. Even though most people wouldn't do so.
Right. Do you feel like you're like well past 10,000 hours?
Oh, hell yeah. I think 10,000 hours is like the number you need to be good.
Right. But not to be a master.
Nah, but like every day you're chasing great. Even that, like in the title, I was telling somebody this past weekend when we had the show, I'm like, you know how much courage it took for me to go into a room like Goldman Sachs or Citadel or Guggenheim, shout out to them, and tell them I'm a master investor and I'm black? Takes a lot of like you have to be on your, like imagine if I said I'm the best ball player to ever step ground in New York.
Right.
People gonna jump off the buildings. Let me play you one-on-one.
Right.
But you have to back that up. Like it's a title that I'm trying to still earn every single day.
Every single day. Wow.
Yeah.
So even though you call yourself, you consider yourself, you're still proving that to yourself.
Yeah, I'm still working on it every day because I'm still trying to get an edge in the market. But I treat investing like a sport.
Right.
Most people, even in hedge funds, treat it like a hobby. Like, so even now with all the banks falling apart and banks crashing, like I told people a year ago this is going to happen. I called a recession 14 months ago.
Right, you did.
And people was like, no, I'm like, you don't think it's true because I'm saying it. But the as much time as I'm spending looking at the market, it's no different than if I watch film for 8 hours a day and I play ball. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same process.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So describe your childhood.
That's tough. Shout out to my family.
Right.
Because it's always tough when you say things on record.
Right.
Trust
me. I've been there.
Childhood was it was good. There was some parts where it was troubled, where where money was tight for family. And those kind of moments shaped me to understand how important money was.
Right.
Like money won't buy you completion or purpose. Happiness is for sale.
Right.
Because if you're able to pay your bills and have a cushion, it does give you a great feeling, especially as a father, to be like, hey, things are good. Or even if you're talking to your lady and she's stressed out, I got it. We're good for the next 5 months. Relax. So, and then at the time in the 90s, I grew up in East Chicago, but Gary, in 1992, was a murder capital.
Right.
So super violent. But I always saw everyone that I knew who was in the streets or was street adjacent or they were in a gang. It was all money related.
Right.
It wasn't because they wanted to be in a gang.
Right.
No kid grows up and is I want to shoot people. I want to claim this. I want to rep GD Vice or
right.
It's usually because the family structure is broken, which is done by design, or there's not enough money in the household, or the parents aren't able to spend enough time with the kids working. So then the kid goes out in the streets and they look for love through the streets and that environment.
I always say, and I've said this many times in a lot of the episodes, it's the most innocent thing that you're looking for. It's companionship. It's consistency.
And love, yeah.
Dudes is always on the block. You're always gonna find somebody there. So you never by yourself.
Yeah.
So that's just innocent.
That's
now
brotherhood,
that gets exploited. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you go from corner store runs to carrying something, don't look in it, don't open it, to your first pack. And all you was looking for was somebody to hang around with. Somebody to tell you I care.
I like you.
I fuck with you, you know what I'm saying?
God, yeah.
Somebody that wants you around. Yo, where you was at? You know what I'm saying? You ain't come outside that day. Yo, where you was at? We looking for you, da-da-da. So that's the feeling you want to be a part of something.
Yeah, we're craving for love and don't know how to say it. Right. Even when we go to the barbershop, we'll get a cut and when we leave, if no one be yo, your cut fire, my G.
Right.
You looking this motherfucker didn't even cut my hair. Right. We're constantly craving love. And especially as men, especially in that era, the 90s, early 2000s, we didn't have much emotional intelligence or weren't able to express the things that we desired in that kind of realm of love and appreciation and happiness. So that's why I try and do everything I can to even when we do the shows, guys will tell you they gotta pull me off the stage from talking to people.
Right.
Because I know it's somebody going through hell that made it out, who came to the show who's looking for something more than just what to invest in. You need a community. And that's the thing, with Red Panda, I love that we can get together and talk about real problems and investing and relationships. And what do you do when you didn't have money? You're the only person in your family, but now you're up $200,000 from the stock market.
Right.
But everyone's looking at you as the breadwinner now.
Right.
And all that comes with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need more community and more love.
Absolutely.
Now than ever.
How would you describe high school Ian?
Shout out to everybody I went to Bishop Noah with. Parts of me were fun, funny, player. Some parts of me were timid. High school was a blast for me though.
Right.
I love especially my freshman year. But I even back then had aspirations. I wasn't the best student.
Right.
But the aspirations and things that I'm doing now, were rooted then.
Right.
So I was listening to Nas and Tupac and all that, and I'm I know there's a way to get to more money, but the technology wasn't there for us to be able to have that kind of influence and impact now. That's why when I see kids in high school, we was at Federal Academy the other day in the Bronx. And they have a podcasting studio in there.
Right. That's
recording studio, got an aviation wing in there where they can learn how to be a pilot. I'm I wish if school was like that when I was a kid, I would have never wanted to leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, high school was dope for me, man. I enjoyed it. I'm actually thinking about going back and doing something for the high school this year.
Right.
So, but yeah, high school to me was like half timid, half cocky. But even the cockiness back then was like out of, what's the word I'm looking for? Out of fear,
Out of
maybe?
fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of a player.
Right.
A little bit of a lover. So,
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to Indiana University. Actually, my freshman year was the year that they kicked Bobby Knight off of campus.
Oh, wow.
Crazy year. Because Bobby was like
Yeah.
Indiana's Trump before Trump was like that big.
Right.
Like he was a king on campus.
Right.
Yeah, so IU had a great time. IU was a ball, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't you start to like figure out the market and get money in college?
Yeah, so my junior year is when I started a marketing company.
Right.
And that's when that's what allows me to see. So the psychology of like how to market and advertise to people is like what I can see what will make a company hot. And because like if you look at like a cola brand or any beverage company, what really separates most vodkas from each other is the marketing and who drinks it versus who doesn't.
Right.
And then I can take that now and then parlay that into the market to see like, so before, to me, like the first Yeezys technologically were Apple.
Right.
Like Apple had fanboys in 2002.
Right.
Crazy. Like I was at IU, everybody from Jersey had the big iPod.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was like a status symbol in college.
Right, it was.
Yeah, it was like $300.
Especially how many gigabytes you had, too.
Was key, right? That was the flex.
That was the
and
flex.
they built in that status like lifestyle. Like Apple was a luxury brand if you were.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So to have the string on and the big with all the gigabytes,
right.
2,000 songs, that was a flex.
Right, that was a flex.
Yeah. So just seeing that and how now with the phone, even if you text them a green bubble versus blue bubble.
Right.
Status symbol. Do you have a pro camera versus a non-pro camera?
Right.
So just seeing those things like is what allowed me to like translate into the investing world very easily.
What does education mean to you?
In what sense?
In the sense of educating yourself on your purpose.
That's key. That's key. I think traditional education has a role as well, but I think we need to reformat how education is done. But educating yourself, very key. Like I wouldn't be here without constantly leaning and learning every day. I'm learning something every day in every area of my life.
Right.
And it's not up to the schools. I know people are like, why don't they teach you about taxes and investing in real estate? But when John D. Rockefeller bought the American education system, he did so to have more people to work inside of his plants.
Wow.
He didn't do it for the benefit of our nation.
Right.
So outside of slavery, like the education system is like the most profitable thing in American history in terms of a startup.
Right.
So that's why it's important. I tell parents, like, you have to educate your kids. If you don't have time, read one page a day to your kid about something business related. I started with my son when he was 2.
Right.
4, I taught him how to trade. So now, like, the investing thing is like second nature to him.
Right.
Like, we have to like learn to teach our kids early in order for them to like be comfortable in the room.
It's cool because when it's cool that you say you did that with your son, because when my son was a baby, I'd put Market Monday on. And he'd listen to, wow, my girl could fact check it. He's like, he can't even. I'm like, yo, he's doing something. Like in my mind, it's doing something.
Yeah.
You know.
And my uncle told me this. He was like, don't talk to your child as if he's a child. Talk to him like he's a man.
Right.
Still have the same love, but you can like be playful and goo gaga your kid to death, and then you're 5 and you're wonder why they're behind.
Right.
So even now, like I'll let him sit through all the meetings that I have if he's with me. I'm like, I got a conference, listen, and he'll ask questions because kids are curious.
Yes.
So we have to like feed that desire, and I know a lot of times we try and put what we didn't learn onto our children.
Right.
Still let them be kids, but like take out 20 minutes a day to be like, hey, this is what is happening in the world. This is what's happening with money.
Right.
Like even when we go places, I'll let him pay if I'm paying with cash. Like one time after the show, like I'll let him count out the money from the show.
Right.
And I'm like, so if you get good grades, you'll be able to make this kind of money. Then he like went super crazy with stuff in the grades. Like you have to influence, because like we'll tell our kids like, when you're 30, if you have a 401k, you can have 200. They're 7. They want to see the money now. Like show them now.
Show them now, yeah, what it looks like.
What it looks like, and that will keep. Because like even when people are like, hey, get the kids off the streets, what are you doing to get them off the fucking streets?
Thank you.
You won't give them $100 today to buy food, but you want him to stop. No, why? That's why every show I give out money on Market Mondays. I'll give people are like, why? I'm like, I've stopped some people from killing people by giving them $500.
Right.
Like, but if you don't come from the environment or don't care, you don't know.
You're not gonna be in tune.
You're not gonna be in tune with like what they need.
That's why I had to get out of teaching, because it was such a big disconnect. And I was teaching at a school like 10 blocks from where I grew up.
Wow.
I thought I was playing for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'm in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I get it. And those white principals,
They ain't get it.
Touch, bro.
And the Bronx is
you know
no
joke,
bro.
I tell you this. I won't say the name of the school, but people will catch on. They used to have to wear the school polos with the stitching in it.
Gotcha.
Right? A kid had on a plain orange one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And she was like, he's out of dress code. I already caught on to the plain orange polo.
Mm-hmm.
Mom got what she could get.
Yeah.
And for her, it flew right over her head. And I'm like, so she put me in the breakout room, right? They used to have control of our Zooms.
Wow.
So she put me in a breakout room. So I'm like, talking to the kids, and she's like, Bernard, what did I tell you? I said, what don't you see?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm like, you don't see, he's not doing nothing wrong. He's on time. He's in dress code. Mind you, we on Zoom.
Yeah.
You have to wear uniform on Zoom.
What the fuck?
Right?
Really?
Right. Facts. Right? So I said, listen, why do you think he doesn't have the stitching?
Yeah.
And she just melted away. Like she's completely felt like the worst person in the world.
Yeah.
But I was like, yo, like we could have spoke about that later.
That's not the most important thing.
If it was something wrong, I would have called it out.
Yeah.
But I caught on quick. Cause I get it.
Yeah, you get it.
I went to public school in the South, bro. I know what it is to wear what you can wear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you think everybody's reality is the same. Like I got this one mother who used to work overnight.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I'm not blowing up her phone every day.
Yeah.
I'm not. So we had a little side deal, shoot me a text, because I used to have to mark attendance. So I used to, if you're going to make it, I'll mark you in and just show up. But that was, you got to be flexible. Bro.
You need more empathy for what people are going through. You absolutely need it. And going back to that grace, we need love. Like if a person is working overnight and she's not able to spend time, the least you can do is find ways to make way for it to be easier for him. So I commend you for doing that.
No, I appreciate it. So I caught these 7 things. Wealth is the ultimate goal that we are trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're really after. Like wealth to me is like, how much free time do you have available to spend with the people that you love and care about the most? It's not money alone, because like you need wealth, health, respect the community, someone that you love, and then like your family structure.
Right.
But the easiest way to calculate wealth or how much you have is like if you stopped working, how long could you pay your bills at the current rate that you're at?
Right.
And when I tell people like how much you need, it scares them, but it gives perspective.
Right.
Like the first goal you really got to get to is like 12 months saved where you don't have to work.
Right.
Tier 2, 60 months, 5 years. And then tier 3 is like you need 30 years.
Right.
And I know it's scary, but that's why like you have to sacrifice now. For a lady, I was telling the gentleman earlier, like I know you may not want to invest for 10 years.
Right.
But 10 years is going to pass by regardless, especially when you have a kid. Time warps by, man. Goes by so fast. So, yeah, those are like the tiers of wealth.
Right. I was telling homies to invest their money, right? A lot of people fuck that unemployment up. A lot of my unemployment is in the market.
Yeah, that's good.
I had Stash at 5 years now.
That's fire.
And I know the market down right now, but all my accounts, I got like 20 bands.
That's amazing.
All my accounts. And that was at 40 a week. I'm saying? And then when I got, so here's how I did it, right? I had 5 stocks, and I would put $10 in each stock.
What are the 5 stocks you're in?
Tesla,
go
Apple, Amazon, Google, Nike.
Oh, you got a fire collection. You good. Go ahead.
Right? And that was from 2018.
Yeah.
When I was playing baseball overseas. I had time to sit there and listen. And my homies gave me the book. So I just took that information and came back and applying it to the people that were around me. But I'm like, if you budget yourself, like that money is in a part of my budget.
Yeah.
So that money's already accounted for.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking of spending that money because that's going automatically. And that's why I say automation.
Yeah.
You only got to click it one time.
Yeah.
And every Monday or whatever day is best for you, that money's coming out of the account.
And I tell fellas, like, if you don't automate it, Bianca from Charlotte's gonna get it out of you anyway.
Right.
You gotta pick where the money gonna go. Right. Some girl is gonna get it out of you, so you might, and then she won't be around in a year.
Right.
Automate your investing. Start with an amount. Like if you do 40 or 100 a month, once you see it work, then that's when you can do 250 or 500 or 1,000 a month. And once you get to like 1,000 a month, oh my God.
Right. But even after that period of time, like when Apple dropped to like I think like 116, I was like, yo, it's like $116. What's $116? Nothing.
Nothing.
I was telling people, but You know, people not trying to hear it. So I'm like,
the best thing to do is just to keep what I've learned too, because sometimes we can like come with all the facts and the stats.
Right.
They want to see you consistently do it, and then your lifestyle or life gets better.
Right.
Then they'll jump on it. It's too late.
Right.
Because then if Apple goes to 240,
right,
then it's like you missed out. But often, like the people that you're closest to, it's going to have the biggest impact on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I used to get frustrated too. Like, man, y'all spending this money on Balenciagas and all this other crazy shit. But I've learned too, like you get immediate gratification in that.
Yeah.
But if we can delay gratification, you can really ball at a higher level.
Yeah.
If you put that money away.
Right. So you mentioned the second one, wealth buys you freedom.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of freedom is to do what you want with your time.
Yeah.
Be around people that are like this one. Be around people that are peaceful, inspiring, and full of integrity.
That means everything, man. Because honestly, the part that makes work really tough or a bad relationship really tough is that their energy's off. They are either dragging you down because they don't want you to elevate, or it's just too much drama.
Right.
So like we have to be around people that like bring peace to us, and then we have to be around people that inspire us.
Right.
Because like here's how you know, like if you get off the phone or FaceTime with somebody, if you feel drained, that person isn't for you.
Right.
That's why like I'm always judging. Will I leave somewhere? Will I feel uplifted by the experience, or will I feel drugged down by it? So like once you have that in place, because that peace quotient is really important in wealth. Like it is, like stress is like a process of slowly killing you. Mm-hmm. You don't want people around you that ruins your life in that way.
Right. The secret is there's no shortcut.
Oh man, I wish there was. I searched for it for many years.
Right.
The only shortcut is the hard work and being consistent.
Yes.
That's in every field, whether it's basketball, baseball, short films like we're doing here, investing. It's all consistency, man. Mm-hmm. Like the number of people that started when I started that fell off probably was like 40 people. Mm-hmm. Like there's no shortcut. There's ways you can automate. There's ChatGPT. There's AI programs that you can use, but like just time in working on your crafts is the only secret there is.
Right. There is no get rich quick scheme. Mm-hmm. Grow slowly and consistently.
That's everybody who wants to get rich usually loses it really fast.
Right.
Or it never pans out to what they think it's going to be.
Right.
I wish there was a way to make $1 million a day, 150 days in a row. I would have found it by now.
Right.
Trust me, I have.
Right.
Every possible scenario, arbitrage here, trade this, automate here, equity deals, like it's going to take time. And normally for men, around like 32 to 40 areas, like when we really start to glow up and get the bag. Right. So we get like halfway through life. I wish there was a way to get rich fast, but it's not there. It's an illusion. It's a lie.
So I know like a part of it is social media and like kind of the expectations you put out there, but do you feel like women have to be more reasonable in what they expect a man to have by a certain age?
You want to be honest?
Yes, of course.
No, women don't have to be more reasonable, but men have to be more disciplined and understanding that, like, historically, women always want the men that are a finished product.
Right.
But as a result, when you become that finished product, you got to be way more disciplined in how you engage and what you'll put up with. So even with me, I'm like, hey, if we gonna kick it, like before I have my little bae, hey, you want to see me? Fly yourself out, invest in yourself. I'm not flying you out.
Right.
Cool. Put money into you if you want something with me to work out.
Right.
Because I'm up. When I was down, I may have to fly you out.
Right.
I'm not doing it now. I'm not taking money away from my son to put into anything. And some people may have an issue with that.
Right.
But my thing is like, I'm not going to take away money from my son to give to a girl who I know probably will not be here in a year and a half.
Right.
Like it's not worth it. So no, like, and also like the get money fast, get rich, buy Dior, Balenciaga, Gucci, Chanel bag thing is a tool of marketing propagated by Instagram to make people buy more luxury brands.
Right.
So we have to understand the more time we spend on Instagram, the more we're feeding that luxury machine anyway. Mm-hmm. So that, because before, I can remember an era, and it wasn't that long ago, when it wasn't a mandatory to have designer.
That's a fact.
This was like 5 years ago.
Right. Even, all right, nightlife, you have to have on a collar shirt, pants, and shoes.
Yeah.
Right now, designers, if it's designers, dress code. Now dudes is like, yo, this is Dior. What you mean I can't get in?
Yeah.
You couldn't wear white T-shirts and ripped jeans. That wasn't dress code.
You couldn't do it.
It was a dress code to go.
Didn't matter if it was designer kicks or not. Like, you were
Right.
not getting in.
We're not.
But you have to be disciplined in your journey. And shout out to the ladies. I know y'all going to be in the comments. And
Right.
keep your standards, but men also keep your discipline.
Right. Have your own bag to fly yourself out. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes.
If you want someone who can build wealth for the family long term.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you could create a dream investment team, who would be on it?
Oh my God. How many slots? I've never been asked this before. 5 slots?
5 slots. 5 slots.
Gotta go with Warren Buffett first.
Warren Buffett.
Music side, Scooter Braun.
Right.
Paul Tudor Jones, he's one of the greatest traders of all time in 1987. Like, Paul to this day, I think Paul's 62, he makes $30 million a month from trading.
Wow.
Like, in 1987, when a big crash happened, like, he made a ton of money. So that would be 3. Number 4.
2 left.
This is a great question. I've never been asked this before. Who would that 4th slot go to? Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's business partner and arguably a better investor than him.
Mm-hmm.
And number 5, the Saudi royal family.
Right.
So, like, Saudi Aramco is like the 2nd biggest company in the world next to Apple, and no one's talking about them as if they're not a behemoth. Like, their investing strategy is almost second to none.
Right.
So, and then me as the honorable mention.
Right.
6th man of the year.
6th man of the year. Yeah. See, making that question for me was like the same as asking ball players, like, yo, if you would make your own dream team,
Mount Rushmore.
What would be your starting 5? So this is like your investment, starting 5.
I love that. That's fire, man. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Clip this up.
Right.
That's fire.
Thank you. So,
who your starting 5 in Starlets? I'm just joking. Next question.
we're gonna go to Twitter.
Okay.
Right. And I found some good ones. Then you become wealthy and you realize you wanted something else. 1, peace. 2, love. 3, happiness. 4, a faithful partner. 5, serenity.
Man, there's nothing worse, I think, than like maybe running up a bag and getting the like worldly success that you want, and then in your household you don't have peace, or somebody who really doesn't fuck with you or doesn't believe in you. Like, that's an empty feeling, and you don't know. Because when I used to hear that, when I was broke, I'm like, well, give me the girl who don't believe in me and the money, and I'll be cool.
Right.
And then you get the money, and the support isn't there, and it's like, or we'll get the bag, and then let's say we start to get a little bit of arrogance,
right,
and then we lose somebody who we really love, who we should have treated better,
right,
and we didn't because we was feeling ourselves. And I'm the shit talk king, right? So, but that's a mistake to not handle people with grace just because you're winning. Doesn't, because sometimes, like, as fellas, we like, we got the bag, do whatever we say,
right,
and it doesn't go that way, man.
No.
Like, you know, I wouldn't swap out any of the failed relationships for the money, but money plus peace plus someone who really cares for you, for you, is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Build a life you don't need a vacation from, yet build in the place you want to vacate to.
This is my biggest revelation. Like, so I recently moved to Mexico.
Fire. Oh, so it's crazy. Wait, in the tweet, did you say you was gonna, or you say you...
I was going to.
Right. Okay.
And everybody thought I was playing. I'm like, okay. So, like, when I go there, I've never felt that happy since I was a kid.
Right.
And I'm like, maybe I'm just having a good time because it's my first time here.
Right.
And I went back the second time and the third time. I'm like, I fucking love it here.
Right.
So my thing is, like, build a place in which you always feel like a child. Like, so whether it's in your home emotionally, your friend circle, you should feel so uplifted when you're in a place that you do not want to leave there. Because I'm most creative there. So normally, like, whenever we have the live shows or like Invest Fest or any big presentation, like, I'll go there and create, because I'm creating out of a place of love.
Right.
And either like darker albums, like if you take Jeezy's first album, that was out of a place of like pain.
Right.
Amazing soundtrack.
Right.
But if you take something like Michael Jackson's Off the Wall, he was in or Thriller, he was in a happier place, happier emotional state, and the artwork reflected that.
Right.
Or Tupac's Me Against the World, Place of Darkness, All Eyes on Me, out of jail, happy, got money, LA, Sun, one of the greatest albums of all time.
Right.
So I've learned to create an environment like where I feel empowered and loved in.
I love that. Isolation is necessary for elevation?
I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all go outside too much. And the number one reason why most of us don't have the money that we won't sit in the house for 2 years and just grind.
Right.
When I first moved to Houston, James Harden had Houston popping, and everybody was out. And I had shout out to Eric Gordon. Like I had an associate like who's cool with Eric. I could have got tickets to damn near every home game if I wanted to. Shout out to Twin. My first 4.5 years in Houston, I may have went outside like to a club twice.
Right.
Everyone's like, you're crazy, you're a hermit. What happened to you? You don't like going out no more. You used to be that dude. I'm like, I want to get this shit down.
Right. I want to get Ian Dunlap on my show.
I'm like, dog, like, I want to get this shit down to it. Because I'm looking at it like, if I can get, like, here's how hard investing is. There isn't 15 black people that you can name on earth in history that have this shit down to a science. So whenever we get into any field or industry, we dominate it.
Right.
So I'm like, if I can get this down, like, I can make billions for my friends and family.
Right.
Stayed in the house 4 years and it worked out, and I'm here sitting here with you.
Right. Yeah. That's a fact.
So stay in the house, and I'm seeing it like that hunger goes away. And I'm not saying not to have fun, but my love for my child was more important than me kicking it. Now, there's a couple, like when Drake came to Houston, I probably should have went to that.
Right.
But it's a couple events that I missed, and also for like networking. That's why I'm outside now. Like
right.
Move around and network and do these shows now as a result. But master your craft. That's the one thing I wish. And everyone has so much reverence for Kobe, and it's passing. But when he was saying this in 2008 and 2010, no one wanted to hear it.
No.
I'm like, just work on the crafts more than everyone else, and then everything will come from that.
Right. Zoe, Kobe helped me win a championship. When I was overseas, I became Zoe Mamba.
I love this. Tell the story.
And I would listen to him every morning, and he would say to visualize the moments that make you uncomfortable in the game. So I would think about those situations, runners on first and second, ball hit to my left, ball hit to my right. What am I going to do? Like, me in the second, I picked the ball out, but I already saw that play.
Yeah.
And it was a ball up the middle where he going to have to spin and get rid of the ball.
Gotcha.
So you got to anticipate a bad throw.
Yeah.
But I already saw it.
Yeah.
And I hit 370 in the playoffs. And in 2019, we won a championship in Austria.
That's fire.
I'm saying, but Zoe Mamba, I used to wear a army fatigue headband under my hat.
That's fire.
And I was just in the zone. And I even told my girl, like, yo, like, however your day was, you're going to have to wait 2 weeks. Like, write it down.
Let me lock in.
I got to lock in. And I was, however you feel about that is how you feel about that.
Yeah.
This right here, and I came home a winner.
And you got the job done.
I got the job done.
Shout out to the Queen for supporting.
Years.
Really?
You know last time they won was 1999.
Damn, that's crazy.
I'm saying
the visualization part is key. And Kobe, like, is a perfect model for, like, how work ethic pays off.
Right.
Retired, became more dedicated to family.
Right.
Won an Oscar, invested in body armor.
Right.
One of the biggest acquisitions in that space probably since Vitamin Water.
Right.
Kobe was about to be like the next Buffett.
Right.
Like his next 4 projects after retirement was all hits.
Right.
Like how the hell you won like an Oscar for like out the gate?
For it was like 7 minutes. It was
it's like
short. It was
but it goes to show like in development of team, picking people who are like on your team that are as passionate about you.
Right.
The investment side, Kobe was a fucking beast on the investment side. Like for all of you, go watch his interviews on CNBC. His acumen was, and you can see in the interview, they're looking like, oh, this motherfucker's actually really good.
Right.
And if he gets in our space with that work ethic he had in the NBA, we're done.
Right.
You can see that, like, when you play ball with somebody and you see as soon as they guard you, like, they shook a little bit.
Right.
That's how they were on set when he came. Because they knew his work ethic and tenacity, if he brought it here, he'd be able to dominate.
Right. The economy will recover around May or June 2024.
I mean, it was prophetic, but when COVID hit, I'm like, this isn't going to be a short thing. And also, like, I'm just certain, cause I used to think, like, growing up in, like, the hood was a bad thing, but it gave me a different lens on how to see things. I'm like, when in the history of the country did they freely give money to black people and just say, hey, go get a bag and have a good time? It never happens.
That Kazazu.
Never.
Get your ring, ding, ding, ding.
Just never happens. Like, we've been redlined out of Chicago, New York, St. Louis, L.A., discriminated against education system is weak, and then in 2020, the loan programs became available. That was a sign where it was like, we're going to do everything we can to help you get money because this next decade is going to be really rough.
Right.
Like, fellas, you ever like cheat and then you like, baby, let me go get you a bag because you felt bad for cheating?
Right.
So when she find out, you like, well, at least I got you the YSL purse.
Right.
Right? That's what the government was doing with us. They was like, let me give you one last party favor before this goes to hell. So, yeah, it'll probably be hopefully 2024 before the economy starts to move up to the upside.
Right.
Yeah.
The truth is, you didn't get the result you wanted because you didn't do the work you needed to do before the opportunity showed up.
Shout out to the person who I wrote this about. In personal relationships and in business, a lot of times we will pray for a blessing, but I found personally in my life that if you don't prepare for that blessing before you get it, God may not give it to you, or you may get it and you'll blow the opportunity. Mm-hmm. Like, how many people do you know who have wished to do anything? And it's like, well, what are you doing on the day-to-day to be better?
Right.
So even in relationships, when I see people like, hey, I want to be married, I want a bad chick, I want this kind of guy, but I'm like, are you doing the work to receive that kind of person before you actually get them? That's not the fun part. Like, you can't go to the finals and be like, this week I'm going to practice 6 hours a day. Like, bro, it's too late.
Right.
You're going to do the J.R. Smith and run the ball the wrong way while you...
Right.
Shout out to J.R. But it was a mistake. You went the wrong way.
Yeah.
It was a little bit high.
Right.
But you have to prepare for the harvest before you actually get there. And that's why I'm big on, like, work ethic, routine.
Right.
Every single day. Because you don't know when your opportunity is going to come. Right. You never know.
Right. And sometimes you got to ask yourself, did I give all I could give? And hold yourself that accountable. So 2017, I got 3 contracts, and they took them all away.
Wow.
Because they signed other players. So I told myself, it's extreme. If I died training this year, I know I gave it everything I got.
Everything you got.
And I signed 2018. And for the athletes out there, chase the opportunity, not the money. But my first contract was only 450 euros a month. I made more money coaching the young kids out there. Wow. Because I would coach their younger programs. Yeah. So I would coach 8U, 10U, 12U, and softball. And I'd get paid 10 euros an hour for all of that. So that's how I ended up making like the 1,200, 1,300 euros a month. Yeah. I went out there, I hit 450, they doubled my contract the next year. And I was making like 1,500 euros a month, apartment paid, flights taken care of. But go out there and do, like, don't worry about the money. Go out there and do what you got to do.
You got to focus on the product. How many hours a day were you putting in when you got the contract that, like, allowed you to get there? Because I think they need to hear it from your perspective. Like, how often were you training?
Mean, I think when it's for you, God going to give you the resources. So God gave me a trainer. Shout out to CJ Turn 2 Fitness. Shout out to Coach Brown. Shout out to Coach Felix. Those are my, like, he just gave me the tools. So I was up every morning, traveling 2 hours to go train. Shout out to Angel Reyes, too.
You went 2 hours to go train every day?
Yeah, because I lived in the Bronx, and this was like on the A train.
Wow.
In Brooklyn. So it was about an hour and 20 minutes from me. Yeah. Right? So I get up every morning, go see him, swing, do my workout, go to work.
That's why you had a job?
Yeah. So I was doing security at night, and I was at an after-school program during the day. Damn. Right? So, and after-school program, I go, if I didn't have to do security, I'd go swing. Yeah. So from work, I'd just go up to New Rochelle, and I'd swing. So it was just grinding, bro. But what also helped me with not training was also teaching. So, like, all the hours of coaching count because you're showing, you're talking about it.
Thinking about
like
the
you're
game.
Thinking about the game.
Yeah.
Like, you're thinking about the scenario that's going to help that child or that player get better. So that counts for a lot, too, because
that's fire.
Now you understand, like, hitting, and now it's understanding how to hit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I could teach someone how to hit. Yeah. So if you can teach someone how to hit, like, when it's time for you to hit, all of that just connects. And that's what happened for me.
One of the biggest things that's helped me for sure is, like, learning how to funnel the information to the audience. Right. And it definitely made me a better investor. Right. Because if I can explain it to, like, a 3-year-old or a 93-year-old, like, I love when, like, the grandmas be like, baby, I was watching you at the church, quit cursing, but I finally understand why you said Apple and Microsoft. I'm like, yes. Right. Yes. So, yeah, coaching and that psychological side of the game helps so much. Right. Yeah, it helps a lot.
It definitely did a lot for me, and I just dug deep to that year. Like, I was like, God, there's something for me there, and I feel it. And sometimes you gotta just block out all the noises. Like my mom was like, "Why are you still playing baseball? Like, what is it doing for you?"
Yeah.
And for me, I saw it in my dreams.
Yeah.
So I had to continue to pursue it, and it happened.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing, man.
This one I found the second time around of doing the homework. Jealousy and envy will leave you once you have done the work required to sit in the seat of those you are jealous of.
Listen, man, I'm gonna be real for most men, and we see it in the banter online, but a lot of the times men are jealous or upset over other people who they have not outworked.
Right.
Like I'll see, like shout out to Kyrie, like when he left Brooklyn and went to Dallas, I saw a whole bunch of people commenting on he should have stayed and should have done this, and I'm like, you don't have a 1/1000th of the talent that Kyrie has.
Right.
I've seen you play ball at 24-hour fitness. You probably should ease up on what you're saying about him. So like, I feel like, and women know this, whenever a man is intimidated by another man, it's not the man himself, it's like the work that he did to get there.
Right.
And I've noticed whenever people actually put in that work, the ones who actually do, we all get along very well. It doesn't matter whether you're a doctor, firefighter, like when you know your craft, there's a mutual respect because you know how, especially when you're a father, because then it's a balance between kid relationship with a mother and making time for the craft. That's really tough.
Yeah.
But that whenever I see someone that's jealous or envious, I'm like, brother, you haven't done the work yet. Because if you did, like, you would have a lot more respect for what it even takes to get here.
To get here, that's facts.
Yeah.
You are the creator of your own heaven and hell.
I learned this in previous relationships, like. And I've said it before, a lot of times as men, and I've done it, whoever I was dating at the time, shout out to you, I appreciate you. Thank you for allowing me to love you and you loving me back, right? I'll be like, yo, I need more peace out of you. Meanwhile, I'm fucking terrorizing this girl.
Right.
And not giving her my best and emotionally checked out at times and not communicating well. And then once I started to like be what I wanted to receive, I'm like, damn, isn't this amazing? I got the treatment that I was given. Yeah. So I had to look myself in the mirror and be like, damn, am I really asking for peace? Right. And I'm Kim Jong-un in this relationship. Like, I got to do better. Right. So in those moments, I realized like, okay, even in content, if we put out some of that spicy energy, we'll get it right back. Right. And even though we'll put out loving content, it may get less likes or less engagement. The comments are more pure. Right. Or like you said, you'll get the messages like, yo, I really needed this message today. Right. Thank you for putting this out. So I've learned like whatever we go through in our life, we usually created it. Right. Yeah.
So it's a Market Monday quote.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a bad market, only bad entries into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even in crypto, like I was telling everyone when Bitcoin was at 60,000, it was going to come down to 20. It's hovering at between 20 and 25, depending on when this comes out. Like there's really no such thing as a bad market because if you're investing for the long time, like over a 30-year period, it's impossible for you to be negative in the S&P 500. Right. Like over a 20-year period, you have like a 98% chance of being positive no matter where you got in. Most people just buy everything at a high. Right. Like if I'm like, hey, I can get a deal on Blackmagic and Komodo cameras, do you want to deal? Everyone's like, yes. And then when I'm like, hey, wait to buy Apple at 116 or 115, they're like, no, bro, I'm about at 150. I'm like, why are you buying it at the top of the market? Right. So often, like the mistakes that we make is that we end up buying too high and end up not waiting. Like the market is like a reflection of our discipline. Right. So like the market isn't doing anything. Like people always ask me like, what kind of animal is the market? Is like a bear, a bull? Like market is really like water. If you consume too much of it, it can drown you. Just enough of it will nourish you. It depends on what you do with the asset in the market at the time. But like most people end up buying too high and then get mad. Right. And then they won't hold and they sell early. Right. Yeah.
Right. What could our community be better at?
Conflict resolution.
Thank you. Love that.
We don't know how to say a funny story. I was in Atlanta. Shout out to Cliff. I was in Atlanta with my guy Cliff and P and Ty. And Nick Cannon had like a little after party situation. And it's okay to, you know, as men to say sorry. Dude had on a white Amiri fit, white Yeezys, look phenomenal. I'm dancing, vibing, knocked over a whole cup of Hennessy on the front of his shirt. The whole section did what you did. Right. They're like, oh my God, Ian about to get his dumb ass shot up, knocking his Hennessy over. First thing, my brother, I'm so sorry. I mean to. I could have been like, yo, you bumped into me. I bumped back into you.
Right.
What's happening?
Right.
Would have led to disaster.
Right.
And he was a gangster. Like, everyone knew, like, yo, he ain't nothing to play with. He was like, nah, I'm like, bro, I cash app you, get you another shirt. He like, bro, you was just having a good time. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
So just saying, sorry, excuse me, my bad, bro, this hurt my feelings. We don't do that enough in our community as men. Because most shootings, honestly, most real violent situations come down to, oh, you going to disrespect me and I'll say sorry and act tough?
Right.
Let me show you.
Right.
Opposed to being like, bro, my bad. I fucked up. I should have.
And it's crazy because I won't say they, but two of my childhood friends, they're more in the streets and they had some tension, right? I just so happened to be getting my hair cut and I ran into my mans. Now, my other friend, who they're friends, bumped into him and he had it on him in the car and was going to do him dirty. And I'm like, bro, like, have you guys spoken? Have you guys talked? Like, y'all could go around the corner and shoot a fade, but what you're going to do is not going to happen. And I'm going to stay right here. Y'all going to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because y'all both fathers.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody loses. There's no winner in here.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just crazy, like the right place, the right time of me being there.
Yeah.
And just being there.
A cooler head.
To see them figure it out and talk it out. Because it's like, bro, like, y'all both got kids.
Yeah.
So you go to jail and he's dead, then what?
And the most men, when we have conflict, it's really over nothing.
Right.
Like, you have the rare exception when it's like, okay, somebody took your girl. Okay. It's never really over big amounts of money either. Mm-hmm. It's over respect or lack thereof. And that's one of the biggest things. And when we see it in the comments, like, people argue with each other and tear each other that they never even met.
Right.
I'm like, how you have 15 minutes to like eat with somebody you're never going to fucking see?
Minutes, right.
Like, yo, what are we doing? It's okay to be like, yo, my bad, cool.
Right.
Yeah, so my thing, even with the content, because I was on Budden's podcast like 2 weeks ago.
Shout out to Joe Budden.
Shout out to Budden.
Podfather.
Yeah. Shout out.
Right.
Great title. It's a good lesson in like naming yourself.
Right. So
master investor, Podfather, you have to treat people how to think of you.
Right.
So you got to come up with a name for yourself.
Okay.
But I was in the comments on Patreon and they're clowning, and I'm like, hey, thank you. I appreciate you tuning into the episode. Right. I understand what you mean, but I don't agree, but I fuck with you.
Right.
A whole bunch of them like end up following me. They're like, yo, we was like trying to flame you in the comments, but you came in being cool. And they're like, yo, you one of the only people who even like get in here and comment back.
Right.
You're a little bit cooler. That's that same conflict resolution. I don't know what that brother was going through.
Right.
So, like, a lot of times, if you be a light in someone's life who's normally going through darkness, because let's be honest, if that brother just finished having sex and he made like $5,000 a day, he's not giving a damn about what I did. He probably going through something that day.
Right.
So, but shout out to everybody on Patreon.
Right.
Yeah.
Last 2 questions. Message to your younger self.
Oh, man, I can go. What age?
I would say the age you needed the most advice at.
Damn, that's good. Probably 10. Be fearless.
Be fearless.
Go after what you want. It's okay to be told no. No one has to believe in your idea, only you and God.
Right.
And whatever your dream is, go after it, even if no one else sees it. Like, a lot of times, and this has happened to me too, but like when I try and get people to believe in things, one thing I learned over time is like, if God put that idea in your mind, there's a reason why. Like, if I came to you in 2010 and like, yo, got a business idea. We're going to find a light-skinned dude that curse a lot, that piss people off, to talk about investing. It's going to be a hit. You'll be like, get the fuck out of here. That's the worst idea ever. Because I saw that no one in our community would talk to us like we were in a barbershop or like playing ball and would break the information down easily.
Right.
And most companies or advisors won't tell you things in layman terms because they want to sound smarter than you to then get your money.
Right.
My thing is like, let me make it easy for you, make you money. Then we'll come back and figure out how we can do business together.
Right.
But yeah, be fearless. Go after what you want. Keep your vision because God gave it to you for a reason.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Message to the youth.
Stop letting people that are older than you tell you that you can't do something because they're putting their fears on you. This generation of kids may be the smartest we've seen, in probably 200-300 years. Like the stuff kids can do, just in app development, game creation, content creation. Parents, let your kids flourish.
Right.
You may not think that it's valuable to let them play Roblox or Fortnite or whatever like the most popular game may be, but these kids are very smart.
Yes.
And it's often the parents or adults that are telling them, well, don't take this path. Who would have thought in 2020 that the world was shut down and everyone would learn from home? I was big in 2016 on not taking any meetings in person.
Right.
So when that happened, everyone had to go to Zoom. I'm like, y'all are in my playground now.
Right.
Allow your kids to flesh out every idea. And normally when a child wants to do something, they only want to do it for like 3 months anyway.
Right.
They'll go through a 2K craze and they'll slow down after a year.
Right.
But let your kids flourish. So to all the kids of this generation, go after what you want, even if your parents don't believe in you.
Right.
Record the content, record the songs, shoot your shot in every area.
Right.
Still go to school and learn.
Yes.
But be fearless in everything because the world is changing.
Absolutely.
Like the world that we grew up in, where it was just like, go to school, get a job, everything could be all right. Those kids know that it's a lie. You know how they know? Because it hasn't worked for their parents.
Right.
They can see the anguish and suffering that the parents have on their face when they come home. Yeah, so let them lead you.
Yeah, well, my brother, thank you so much for your time.
Weezy, I love you dearly. I'm going to leave you more voice notes.
Absolutely.
Yes, and happy belated when this comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're going to see her episode tomorrow. Everyone, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, go follow the guy, join Red Panda. We're doing great things. Yeah. And, you know, conversation was up. It's up and it's stuck.
Hey, it's long overdue, but I'm happy.
Be good, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you, man, for real.
Peace and love, world. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, support the channel, show your love. You know what I'm saying? We have a great conversation week in and week out. You never know who's coming. You never know what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, it's all about peace and love. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out, you know, especially, you know, for spinning back. You know, we were supposed to do it, but, you know what I'm saying? Came back, man. We still been going, bro. We still, you know what I'm saying? And I think I'm much more established, and the platform is bigger now than when I actually asked you. But you was jacking it then too, though.
I have been rocking because and I was slept on too for a long time.
Right.
So I can see when somebody's really talented. I like rocking with people who slept. That's why I told him, like, get a picture of him. Because when this take off, you may not be able to get your ass back up here. Like, I know it. And same with you, like, he's real humble, but you know he's the shit. I love people like that.
Right.
Because they always count us out. And then you look up in 2 years and you're like, how the fuck you get a show on Showtime?
Right.
We doing this all the time. It's like, what is 8 more cameras and line producer and set producer?
Right.
You run the whole show.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah.
Gonna get there.
Yeah, that's what I tell Weezy, like, keep building. I told Weezy, like, you the smartest person ever. She's like, why? You'll never talk about your intelligence. You fake them out with the little sex shit. And they don't know all your other tricks you done. The same thing. Like, the way you interview, I'm like, you know, your Bob Costa shit, I'm sitting.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah, I can see you doing some Mike Tyson and shit like Floyd.
Right.
Like, it's just, even with Floyd, I didn't even know he was tapped in when we got him for the show. A lot of them cats be watching everything.
Yeah, no, they paying attention. Yeah. You know, they it's a little bit of something for everybody. You know, we got the battle rappers coming on, sex workers. Yeah. You know, I got a dude coming on that he started his own black school in Brooklyn. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? You know,
diversity in different audiences.
Right. My man's from the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting there. And it's crazy because my network and my reach is from being solid. You feel me? Like, I could call anybody and be like, I'll do it for Zoe. Because I always been a good dude. I always was, right, sidewalk guy. I never was a street guy. I was from the mud in the South Bronx, but a sidewalk guy. Yeah. What was a baseball player in the school? You know what I'm saying? You need a reference, use him. You need a piss test, call this nigga Zoe.
Like, being a good person matters, especially in this fucking ass industry.
Right.
Man, matters so much, man.
Right. Yeah, that's a fact. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Man.
We got to sponsor this show, man. Sponsored by Red Panda.
Let me know how much.